All right, what's up, Shred Nation? This is JB. This is session 2 for new guitar players, people learning how to play the guitar, okay? This is a beginning session. This will be session B. We released session A last week. It's going to be about 24-25 minutes long, and we're going to roll through a lot of chords and talk a little bit about some tips to help you get up to speed quicker. And so let's go ahead and get started. And the first thing that we do is we tune our guitars, okay? So we're going to start with the low E, or your 6th string. Remember, we count strings in this direction. We count frets in this direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 6 strings. We're starting with the low E string, okay? Does yours sound like this? If it does, you're good. If not, you need to adjust. Okay. Okay. Let's go to our 5th string. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and let's do A. I'm in tune. Are you? String sounds like that. You're good. If it doesn't, adjust it. Okay, let's go with our 4th string, which is our D string. 1, 2, 3, 4. I am in tune. Are you? Okay, let's go to our 3rd string, which is our G string. I am in tune. Are you? 1, 2, 3, 3rd string. It's your G string. If it sounds like that, you're all set. If it doesn't, adjust. Okay? All right. Let's go 2nd string. This is our B string. If it sounds like that, you're good. If not, adjust. And finally, let's go to our E string. Now you have an E string here and you have an E string here. There's 2 octaves in between. Okay? So it goes E, A, D, G, B, E. Play your E chord that we learned last week. Okay, just to kind of summarize a couple of different things that we talked about last week, having a guitar that was easy to play, doesn't hurt your fingers to push down on the strings. Okay, it's easy to play. And if you find yourself in this lesson or any other lesson or during a song, and you know you're playing a chord right, but it doesn't sound right, that means your guitar went out of tune. So the other thing that you need to make sure of is that you have a guitar that's easy to play and stays in tune, okay? It's very, very important. Because there's nothing that'll frustrate you more when you know you're doing something right and it doesn't sound right, right? There's also nothing that'll frustrate you more than very, very sore fingertips, because you're trying to push real hard to make the string make the note, right? Especially up in here, in this area. This is about the hardest area because you've got your nut right here, and so it's harder to push the string down up in through here. So when we start doing bar chords, that still might be, even if you have a guitar that's easy to play, it still might be a little more difficult there than it would be up here, right? Okay? All right. The other thing is make sure you have a tuner. Always make sure you have a tuner, right? You want to make sure that you're going to work real hard to learn all these chords. You want to make sure they sound right when you play them, all right? So those 2 things are pretty critical. Picks at this stage doesn't really matter. I use nylon picks, and so the nylon picks that I use are 0.73. they're durable. In other words, they bend a little bit, but they don't bend a lot. And they have these grooves in them which help them stick to your fingers when you're trying to hold them, especially when you start sweating. When you guys start, playing half hour at a time or an hour, hopefully you're practicing that much a day, that your fingers get sweaty and your pick sometimes falls off and falls out, and you don't want to have that happen, especially if you're playing for your sweetheart or something, okay? So make sure that, and again, if you're going to get nylon picks, don't get them that are too slinky, because a little bit of bend is good. A lot of bend is probably not, especially at this stage, okay? So again, do what you want. You're going to have your own comfort level on picks, and probably every guitarist is going to have a different opinion there. But for electric guitar, I like to use nylons. It doesn't necessarily matter as much. If you're playing an acoustic guitar, you generally, use a more of a plastic pick. And what that does is it brings the notes out much brighter than a nylon pick would, right? So anyway, just a quick tutorial on picks. So let's go ahead and get into it. So last week we learned the E chord. Go ahead and play with me. We learned the A minor chord. Play with me. We learned the E minor chord. And we also learned A major seventh, which is a beautiful chord. Okay? We learned C. We learned A major. Remember this one? Where you gotta stretch your pinky down to 1/5? Okay. We also learned G. Okay. Today we're gonna learn D minor, and then we're going to learn all the sevens. We're going to learn E7, A7, C7, G7, and D7, okay? So here's D. Hopefully you can see that well. Okay, so your middle finger is on 1, 2. Your ring finger is on 2, 3. And your index finger is on 3, 2. And I'm just strumming the first 4 strings. Can you strum the whole thing? Yeah, it gives you a much fuller sound, but for the purposes of this practice, let's just strum the first 4 strings. I'll wait till you have it. That's your D chord. Well, if that's your D, what's your D minor? Well, you change from here to here. You're just changing with your index and your middle finger. You're going like this. So essentially, your index is 1, 1, right? Okay, your ring finger stays on 2, 3, right? And your middle finger goes to 3, 2. I'll wait till you have it. And listen, it doesn't matter if you're picking with 2 or 2 fingers or 3 fingers, whatever. Generally, when I strum, I'll use 3, and when I'm playing leads, I'll use 2. But whatever's comfortable with your pick, there's no right or wrong way, regardless of what anybody tells you. Right? Everybody has their own style. Just ask Jimi Hendrix, right? So, okay. Okay. All right. So let's do D. Now let's do D minor. Let's do D. let's learn sevens, okay? So remember your E. We're going to learn E7 right now. Now, if you play your E chord like this, right, and you lift up your ring finger, that's an E7, okay? See, all these are real close. Like E minor is this, E is this. Well, E7 is just 2 notes. Now you're strumming all the strings, right? But you're only pushing down on 3-1 with your index finger and 5-2 with your middle finger. 3-1 index, 5-2 middle. You try it. Try it again. And one good way to practice these chords to make sure that you're doing them right is just play one string at a time all the way across. That way you know that you're properly arching your fingers and you're not down here like this. You're arching your fingers, and that's important because your fingers can block some of the other notes that you're not pushing down from playing, and the chord won't sound right. Arching your fingers is very, very important, okay? Let's play it again. Okay? All right, let's learn A7, okay? Now, remember A minor? Well, A7 is a little different. The only finger that stays in place is your middle finger on 4-2, okay? What happens is you take your ring finger and you put it over on 2-2, and that's your A minor, right there. That's your A7. It's a pretty chord. Hopefully you can see it. Remember, strum one note at a time and make sure that you're playing it right. If you hear a that's not a good thing. Like you're either covering it here or you're covering it there, one of the other strings. So arch those fingers, okay? And might I add, if you don't keep your fingernails short, you're gonna have problems, okay? You got to make sure you keep at least from your left, and ladies, I'm sorry, you're going to have to cut your fingernails on your left hand, right? But you want to keep it so that it's easy to play, and if your fingernails are too long, you're going to miss notes, right? I always kick myself if I forget to cut my nails before a show or before I'm going to do one of these, right? All right, so that's your A7. So go back to E7. Now go to A7. And on A7, I'm just playing 5 strings. I'm not playing the low E string. You could, but it sounds better that way. You do it. All right, let's go back to E7. Go ahead and strum it. And then let's go to A7 one more time. Okay, now we're going to go to D7. Okay, remember we did D. Do D with me. Then we did D minor. We'll do D one more time. Now let's go D minor. All right. Now D7, you're moving moving all your fingers except for your middle finger. Your middle finger is going to stay right there, okay? But for D7, you're going to go with your ring finger 1, 2, and your index finger 2, 1, and then your middle finger is going to be 3, 2, and it looks like that. It's real good. You'll hear a lot of songs go from D7 right into G. Okay. Okay. D, D7, G. It's kind of a nice little chord set there. So go D, D7, and go G. Now we'll do a little slower this time. You're probably struggling. Let's go D, D7, and then go G. I've been doing it a bunch of times. I'm going to get you up here going D, D7, and let's go G. Get you up to speed fast. D, all right, D, D7, G. Well, then what's G7? All you do on your G is you lift your pinky and you put your index finger on 1, 1. It's easy. Again, make sure your fingers are arched. Okay, so D, D7, G, G7. Let's do it again. D, D7, and let's go G. Now let's go G7. One more time. D, D7, and let's go G, and now let's go G7. All right, now I want you to play your C chord. You remember your C chord? We don't play our 6th string. We only play 5 strings on the C chord. Okay? Now, your C7. Well, okay, what's my C7? All you do is play your C chord, but you put your pinky down on 3, 3. There's your C7. You have it. So let's just alternate between C and C7 for a couple of these. Okay, so play C, C7. All I'm doing is using my pinky up and down. C, put my pinky down on 3, 3, C7. Okay? All right. Now we're going to learn the F chord. Okay, now F is a bar chord. Okay? And it's kind of easier to play as a bar chord, but I'm going to teach you a way to play it in case you're playing an acoustic. It's a little bit easier. So I want you to take your index finger and I want you to put it down over your first two strings on the first fret. Okay? Middle finger goes on your third string, second fret. That's, by the way, a really nice chord that goes all the way up. Okay, the only difference is on this one, we're going to put our ring finger down on 4-3, okay, like this. So we're just playing the first four strings. We're going. You try it. Now, if you want to sound, throw a little nice little piece in here, leave your E string open and just play with your ring finger. Just go 4-3 with your middle finger. Go 3-2, and with your index finger go 2-1, and leave your high E open and play that. Isn't that pretty? Play it up here, you got to use your pinky. You can go all the way up with it. This is the only place that you can do it, and it's a lot easier. You don't have to use your pinky. So it's pretty. Isn't that pretty? Now you can do it that way, and it'll sound nice, right? But I want you to practice it this way too. Because on our next session, we're going to learn how to do this in a bar chord. Okay, so let's go from F, and then open E, F, F with an open E, isn't that pretty? F, F. Let's go with the open E. All right, so we're 23 minutes in. So please practice. Couple of tips for you, and I think I told you the last session. You can Google guitar chords, and charts will come up. And some of those charts you can print. Some of them you have to sign up and pay money. You know, I don't recommend that, but there are some that you can just print out, right? And they'll have a lot of different chords on them. If you see the chords have a black line all the way across, that's a bar chord, which means that they want you to push all the strings down and then make your chord with these three fingers. Okay, and we'll start working on those next week. Or yeah, probably 2 or 3 days when I post the next one, the next beginner session. So that'll be beginner session C. But in the meantime, let's go ahead and practice everything that we taught you. And please leave your comments. Like if this training was helpful to you, I'd appreciate having some comments, and please subscribe. Other than that, practice up. Hour a day, 30 minutes a day minimum. If you really want to become a good guitar player, you've got to put in the time. It's about practice. You see these amazing guitar players on stage, and you're just like, wow, what do they do? They practice the heck out of that guitar for years, and they never missed it. Like it was a hour a day, and then as they continue to get better and better, they still practice more than that. Like I practice 2.5 hours a day, easy right now. And so make sure you're putting into practice time. Please subscribe to my channel, and rock on. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.